Peace, love, greetings, happiness, all the good things in life. How is everybody feeling today? I hope you're doing well, feeling vibrant and good. My name is Misty Moon, and I'm here to share with you another segment of Womb Wisdom. And by the way, I love starting off with some type of sound healing. It's just one of the services I like to offer. And this particular crystal bowl is tuned to the throat chakra. So it helps to speak your truth. It helps to allow you to come from an authentic place when you're expressing yourself. And it's just nice and gentle and calming. So that's one of the intentions of why I like to start off my videos with sound healing, just so when you come here, you push play. It just helps to relax you and center and ground you before I share whatever message it is that I want to share with you. And today is, the message is going to be on emotionally eating. The last segment I did was on sugar cravings. So there seems to be this theme that's coming up right now regarding how we eat. And it's just something that we don't really talk about that often. So what I'm going to be sharing with you is all coming from an incredible life coach named Brooke Castillo. You can check her out. She has a podcast called the Life Coach School, and also she has a whole program about losing weight. And these are some of the tools that she uses with her clients to help them lose weight, and which is something that I'm also integrating as well with my coaching. So why do we binge? Why do we emotionally eat? Oftentimes when we're growing up as children and we don't learn proper coping mechanisms with how to deal with our emotions. So oftentimes it's just easy just to stuff our emotions with food. I know for me personally, I can definitely testify to that. I was overweight when I was in elementary school. I think at one point, I don't really remember my weight, but I feel like at one point I was like 140 pounds in elementary school. I think by the fifth grade. I had a really stressful childhood, just a lot of, our parents did the best that they could, but there was just a lot of chaos in my upbringing. And so my way of coping was through sugar, through pastries. I have a memory of, this is awful, but I have a memory of like baking a whole sheet of brownies. I think I did it when my parents were gone away at work, and I hid the brownies on top of the refrigerator so no one knew that I had these brownies, and I would just go like a little mouse in the middle of the night and just like, binge eat on these brownies and, candy, and by the time I got to high school, cookies and soda and chips, and so you develop those patterns, and by the time you're an adult, it's just part of your conditioning. And so I have memories of leaving when I was in school, just being so stressed out and emotional. I would eat an entire dozen of chocolate chip cookies by the time that I left school, by the time that I got home. So I'm just sharing these things with you because I have a really direct experience of emotional eating. And still to this day, if I don't check myself, if I don't have my tools in place, I can easily slip back into that pattern. So this is something that I've learned that has sustained me to prevent myself from going down that dark path. And I want to share these tools with you as well. So just to be mindful, there's 4 different types of eating. Okay, so one is storm eating, which is really the definition of binge eating. And that's when you're eating against your own will or in a frenzy really quickly and feeling like you're unable to stop, yet you're aware that you're doing it. So like when we're in our car, when we're commuting, when we're in front of our laptops working or in front of the television, we just, we're aware that we're doing it, but we just can't stop because it's almost as if like you have to eat all this food before someone else eats it, and perhaps part of that is coming from a place of scarcity. So I'm just sharing these concepts with you just to be mindful of them so that the next time you find yourself eating, what I would encourage you is just to stop for a moment, be aware of how you're eating, because it's from the awareness that you begin to break those chains of those old conditioning. Okay, so one is storm eating. Another one is fog eating, and this is when you eat with no awareness. You're completely unconscious. This is when you completely black out when you're eating that quart of ice cream. So you're completely unconscious and eating to disassociate in order to be outside your body. This fills your body up and causes a blood reaction within your body so that you don't have to experience whatever's happening with you emotionally. So when you're going through that nasty breakup, or when you've gotten fired, or when you just got out of that argument, when something stressful happens, again, if you don't have proper tools in place, then it's easy for you to disassociate with using food. Okay, so just something to be aware of. And then there's what's called joy eating. And so these last two that I'm going to share with you, these are more of the healthier ways to eat. So joy eating is when you're just eating just for the pleasure of it. There's nothing wrong with having that piece of chocolate cake or that cheesecake or that pastry or that cocktail. It's just a matter of the intention of why you're doing it. And so one tool that Brooke Castillo recommends when it comes to joy eating, I love this tool, is that if you're going to have that cocktail, if you're going to have that piece of cake, that when you do consume it, that you are super mindful with every single bite and every single swallow that you take, so that you're enjoying the experience as opposed to just fog eating or doing the storm eating. So again, there's nothing wrong with eating fun foods. It's just a matter of like chewing it really slowly, so that, and also when you do that, you could really take in the flavors and you don't feel like as if you have to eat an entire cake or an entire dozen of cookies in order to get that fulfillment. So with joy eating, the trick with joy eating is to be super extra mindful when you eat, okay? And when you chew the food. And then the last type of eating, this is the most ideal eating. This is the reason why we should be eating food. And that's eating to fuel our bodies. That's eating to give our bodies the proper nutrients that it needs in order to sustain itself. So this is the thing. If you, moving forward, if you are making your meals, when you're going grocery shopping, whenever you put food in your body, if you're eating it with the intention to fuel your body, then everything else just falls into place. So, but I know that it's easier said than done. There's a lot of other, there's understanding the psychology of why that you're binge eating to begin with. Like I mentioned earlier, oftentimes it's something that traumatic that happened to us as children. And so that's our way of coping. So one of the things that I do as a coach is that I start from the beginning. I start with the inner child. What is it that your inner child is upset about? Because oftentimes when we're eating, we know that we're not supposed to be eating a whole sheet of cookies. We know that we're not supposed to be eating those bags of chips. But because there's some unresolved issues within our inner child, it's our inner child that's acting out. So you have to go to the root of the cause. So that's one. And then two is cleaning out your blood. And that's where the herbs come into play. That's where the detoxes come into play. The lemon, the water, the chlorophyll. So it's both the mental, emotional, and the physical aspects that needs to be addressed before you can move forward in order to sustain eating habits. But to begin with, is the awareness. So like I just shared these 4 different types of eating habits that we do. So if you moving forward, if you just prepare yourself, think, okay, what is it that my body needs to be fueled? When I eat, I want to eat to fuel my body. And of course you want to enjoy, foods that are fun, but if you're going to enjoy those foods that are fun, eat them in moderation and be very, very mindful with each and every bite that you take. So I hope that this is helpful, little tools for you to start implementing. I want to share with you all that starting May 20th through May 27th, for 7 days, I'm leading a free sugar rehab. And so during these 7 days, I'm going to be offering you a breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snack recipes for you to integrate that has no processed sugar in it. We'll be slowly eliminating the sugar out of your diet. And on June 1st, I'm going to be doing an intensive 21-day sugar detox. I know this sounds intimidating, but it is absolutely doable because sugar really, truly is the devil. I quoted that from my business coach. Processed sugar, that is. I mean, it causes diabetes, obesity. It can create imbalances in your thyroid, and it can cause depression and make you feel lethargic, and the list goes on. And so this is a common conversation I've been having with a lot of people lately about sugar. That's why I made the last video on sugar. So if you feel like this is something that you want support with, it's absolutely free. I'm going to be sending out some links within the next week for you to register. And I'm going to be creating a private Facebook group for us to, like every day I'll be releasing content. I'll be releasing videos of me helping you guide you through the process. So if this is something that you're interested in, just send me a little message in the inbox to say, hey, I'm interested in this. And I'll make sure to get the link to you when it's up and ready by next week. So in the meantime, like I mentioned, these are 4 different types of eating I want you to be aware of. In that moment when you start craving something, whether it's sugar or junk food, ask yourself, why am I craving this? Begin to observe yourself, as if take yourself out of your body and observe yourself and ask, why am I craving this food? What am I upset about? And if you can at least start to be aware of what's going on with you mentally and emotionally in that moment, then that can also help break the chain of you getting out of that unconscious way of eating. And before you know it, you've gone through a whole bag of chips and you're wondering why you can't lose weight. So so try out this awareness. Again, we want to eat food to fuel our body. Number 1, bottom line, that's what we're really striving to do. If you want to eat things that that brings you pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that. Be super mindful of it. Try to avoid from fog eating, when you're just blacking out and trying to disassociate. And that's also try to prevent from storm eating, when you're just eating in a frenzy. Before you sit down and eat, take a breath. Pray over your food, or just give thanks for your food. If if that even sounds a little bit overwhelming, just simply thank your food. Like what I do, I imagine, I don't always do this, but I try to get into the habit of thinking where the food came from, and just giving thanks for the abundance of the earth and with all the vegetables and fruits that we have, and knowing that when it goes into my body, it's going to give me vitality, it's going to support my organs, it's going to make my skin glow. Especially when I eat healthy food, I always give an extra boost of gratitude for that. So that's one way that you can slow it down. Take a couple of deep breaths, take a bite, put the spoon down, and I think the rule of thumb is to chew 35 times before you swallow. So just take it easy. Try not to eat in front of your laptop. For heaven's sakes, try not to eat in the car. If you do need to eat in the car, pull over, and just take your time and eat your food. Because another thing too that we do, when we eat in the frenzy, when we do the storm eating, we're not masticating our food properly. So these gigantic chunks are going down into our digestive system, into our stomach, and it's making our digestive enzymes work extra hard to break it down, and that also correlates to feeling tired and lethargic, and then we're not able to eliminate it properly. So let's just change this let's create a new paradigm, everybody, with eating healthy, so that we can have the bodies that we want and feel good, because it's not always about the calories. It's not about there's eating healthy foods, and there's eating healthy foods and having healthy eating habits. So let's try to do both. So that was my long-winded share about binge eating. So again, if you're interested in doing the Sugar Rehab, that's coming up in about 2 weeks from next Monday, or a week from this Sunday is when it starts. So if you're interested, send me an inbox, let me know, and I'll be happy to guide you through the process. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful, beautiful day, and take care of your bodies. All right, peace.